Ukraine and Russia have blamed each other for the shelling of the Russian-occupied Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. The attacks are said to have also hit nearby high-voltage power lines. Ukrainian and Western officials have accused Russian forces of using the complex to launch attacks, leaving the Ukrainians unable to respond for fear of causing a disaster. Ukraine's President Zelensky said the Kremlin must take responsibility for what he called a terror attack.
Israeli airstrikes on Gaza that continued from Friday across the weekend, killing more than a dozen, including a commander of Islamic jihad and a 5-year-old girl. Israel had struck without being attacked first. Its prime minister said it was to remove a threat hanging over the country from Islamic jihad following Israel's detention of its leader in the occupied West Bank on Monday. Israel authorised the use of reservists and mobilised combat battalions and artillery units. Meanwhile, Islamic Jihad hit back, launching barrages of rockets. We've just seen rockets streaming overhead coming from Gaza into Israel, and there's been scores and scores of them since the start of this, but they haven't really had much impact. A lot of them have been stopped by the Iron Dome, which is Israel's anti-rocket system. A lot of them have landed within Gaza or have gone into unpopulated areas.
In Croatia, at least 12 people have been killed and 31 injured after a Polish bus veered off a highway early this morning. The bus was heading in the direction of the Croatian capital Zagreb when it crashed near the city of Varaždin. It was on its way to Bosnia-Herzegovina. These are the latest images from the scene. The Polish Prime Minister said that the passengers, the pilgrims, were on their way to a site of a well-known Catholic shrine.
This Boeing 747-300 did belong to the Iranian cargo company Mahan Air. Last year they sold it to the Venezuelan firm Emtrasur Cargo. The US says it did not authorise that transaction, which broke its export control laws. They want the plane confiscated. Iran denies the accusations, while Venezuela wants the aircraft back.
The plane that was carrying out a fundamental humanitarian mission for Venezuela has been kidnapped by Argentina. They've robbed us on the orders of an imperialist court in the United States.
An Argentine judge released 12 of the 19 crew members. 7 remain, 3 Venezuelans and 4 Iranians, among them the pilot Golamreza Gassemi.
Black smoke billowed across Cuba's skies on Saturday after lightning struck a large oil storage tank in the north of the island the night before. These images, released by Cuban state TV, show people being evacuated from the scene, which left multiple people injured. The oil tank was estimated to hold some 13 million gallons of fuel. Local authorities say the flames spread to a second tank and led to 4 explosions. As firefighters continue to try to quell the blaze, Cuba's president said on Twitter that extinguishing the inferno could take time. The massive fire comes as Cuba faces a deepening energy crisis.
Mali's government has said it'll integrate 26,000 ex-fighters from a northern rebellion group into its army as part of a deal with the former independence movement. The agreement was struck in a meeting on Friday between the two parties and suggests a new energy in the stalled reconciliation deal signed several years ago. The meeting was chaired by Prime Minister Chogol Maiga, also attending the event with a special representative of the UN Secretary-General and head of the peacekeeping mission in Mali, El Ghassim Wane, and other ambassadors. A peace agreement between the government and non-extremist armed independence groups in the north was signed in 2015, but has stalled in the past 7 years.
Turning around on the tarmac, this Qantas plane bound for Noumea is now bound for the gate after this alert from the control tower.
Qantas 91, just be advised, the car behind you has there seems to be kind of flame coming out of your right engine. Qantas 91, affirm it is a flame.
76 passengers plus crew on board, the pilot springs to action and shuts down the engine.
Qantas 91 stopping.
Qantas 91 stopping.
Pan, the Qantas 91 stopping on runway 16 west, supply fireys.
Qantas 91, Roger Pan, fireys are being notified now.
The captain's pan is a radio distress signal. Aviation firefighters respond immediately, rolling in one by one. The plane has been checked over by engineers. They've ruled the emergency a false alarm, clearing it to return to service.